Hi, welcome, 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 everyone. I realized I didn't put my phones on vibrate and I need to do that. So I am putting all these phones on vibrate that I have. And yes, you can talk about me. I have multiple phones. I have multiple phones. So, welcome to Talking with Flair with Takesha. I am really excited. This is going to be my second podcast that I am doing with you all, and I'm dropping stuff. I'm dropping stuff, but that's okay. That's okay. You gotta practice. Practice makes perfect. I decided to go ahead and do another podcast. The first one you guys saw, I didn't have my glasses on. I can still see, but I see better with my glasses. I didn't put on any lipstick. That's all I have is my lipstick, y'all. I don't know the makeup, just lipstick. Because sometimes lipstick can up your whole game, change some things for you. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna do a little bit better. Let you see my actual background. So funny story, really quick. I shared my first podcast with three of my sisters, all of my sisters, and one of my close friends. And y'all, it was so funny because, of course, I wanted them to critique me because I know they were going to be honest. Regardless, they're going to be real honest about my presence. I had already told them, look, my chair was broken, so I'm sitting lower than what I want to be. So I'm gonna have to switch it out with the other chair that I have downstairs. So I sit up a little higher. And so they were talking to me about my flow and how I was doing and my enunciation and dictation and all that good stuff. And I have an issue, as I said before, with the ums thing. So they were like, it wasn't distracting. And I hate it when people are talking to me and going over different stuff and it's like that drives me. So I didn't want to be that person. And then one of my sisters was like, well, I have a critique for you. And I was like, okay, what is it? I'm thinking it's gonna be something big. She said, that is not your living room. And I was like, really? Really? Well, we all know it's a virtual background, but I mean it was cute. It was cute. So I was like, okay, I'll show y'all my background. This is my office area. One of my offices. I have two offices in the house. One of them is more like a storage area for storing stuff I need to go through, and then like gifts that I give my clients when they go on trips and stuff like that. So I might eventually go down there and record, but for the most part, this space is gonna be my recording space. But when she said that, I was like, really, Tamara, that's your critique? Whatever. Y'all are gonna see more virtual backgrounds in the future. And so they were very receptive and they're excited for this new journey. And it means a lot when you have people that are just as excited as you are, and they're not going to lie to you about your vision or what you have, your your outlook, your plans, and they're going to be realistic and they're going to give you honesty and they're going to, because they love me. And I appreciate them because if this wasn't going to be good, or if they didn't think that first 10 minutes and 5 seconds of the first video was going to be good, or was good, they would definitely let me know. So I decided to talk to y'all today about dating after divorce. So I am a divorcee. I'm happily divorced. I say that not that marriage is a bad thing. Marriage is a beautiful thing. I have been blessed to have grandparents that uh, were married for 69 years. My grandfather died 2 weeks shy of their 69th anniversary. And so we still celebrate that. My parents, they've both been married and divorced. However, I've seen the beautiful relationships and things that come from marriage. I feel like marriage is workable and doable if both people are willing to put in the work for it. So I'm not here to bash marriage. So if that's what you're looking for, go somewhere else because it's not my ministry and I'm not going to do it. So I'm not here to do that. Just a little bit. I was married for 4.5 years. I was a preacher's wife. I know, right? Bless their hearts. No, but for real. I was a preacher's wife. It actually was really good. I was genuine, and who I am is what you're going to get. I don't believe in fitting any stereotypical role. I wasn't the kind to wear a hat, sit on the front pew, and do all that stuff because I feel like if I'm going to reach anybody, I have to genuinely be me. I have to let them see who I am and not compromise myself for a role because at the end of the day, I'm a woman first. I'm a woman of God first before I'm a preacher's wife or I was a preacher's wife. And I was received. I was received very well. And my marriage was hell. However, however, I made the conscious choice to not be bitter, be angry, to get over my pain and my hurt. Because I know what that felt like from a previous relationship to Harvard, that anger and that bitterness and all that stuff. And I never wanted to go back to that space and that place. And I let him know I wanted to make a conscious choice and effort to be amicable, where we could get along, we could talk, we could laugh. We would never be best friends, but that doesn't mean you can't get along if both people are mature enough to do so. Let's start there. Because you can't be friends with everybody you break up with. You can't be friends with everybody you've been married with. Because some people been married more than once. That is life. And so he was in a place of maturity where we could do that, as was I. I also distanced myself so that there could be boundaries and lines established and drawn to where and when I say we, I'm speaking in general, church folks, family, friends, anybody that knew us understood that we no longer were a couple and we were no longer going to operate as a couple. I was no longer the first lady. I no longer wanted to be the first lady. I just wanted to be Keisha to Keisha. That's all I wanted to be. That's all I wanted to do. And so we were married for 4.5 years. That half year was separated. I filed for divorce on my work anniversary. I did not think about it till after the fact of June the 12th. And by July 25th, yes, that fast, um, our divorce was finalized. I did all the paperwork. He agreed to everything. Everything was amicable. I wasn't out to get him or take his money, and he wasn't out to get mine and take mine. So we were able to split without there being, any issues or any problems or anything like that. And I went on about my business. And like a year later, I say about a year later, a gentleman approached me and was like, "Hey," he was like, "Are you married or dating anybody?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "I would like to take you out for coffee or drinks." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "But are you married or dating anybody?" And he was like, "No." I said, "Oh, okay. Does anybody think they're married or dating you?" And he was like, he started laughing and he was like, "No." I asked that because some men and women will put people in a position to where they feel like they're in a relationship with them without that person committing to them and have them stringing them along emotionally, feeling like they're in this dynamic that doesn't exist for both parties. And I was like, I believe in clarity. So that way you can't say, "Well, you didn't ask me." Yeah, I did. I asked you if she thought y'all were in a relationship or if she thought y'all were still married or whatever. And so he was like, "No." And so we started talking. All I wanted at that time was companionship. I didn't want a serious relationship with nobody. I just wanted to be able to spend time with somebody, occasionally go out with them come to my house, me go to their house, and that sort of thing. And I was in that space because I realized too that I needed to be more comfortable with me and learning to embrace me better. Before I got married, everybody was getting married around me. I was a single parent, and y'all, I have caught 13 bouquets. I said, let me stop going up here when they got all the single ladies playing because I don't need to catch not near another bouquet. Okay, like I was decorating my house with them because they was cute. I ended up throwing them in trash. Don't worry, I threw them in trash. But I was finding that instead of me concentrating on where I was in the present, I was focused on what I didn't have. And that led for a miserable existence. So when I got my divorce, of course, for that year, I wasn't studying anybody, wasn't trying to talk to nobody or anything like that. And then when he and I started talking, my focus was still on me. Don't get me wrong, we talked every day. We talked every day. I did a lot of traveling because of his job. He did not travel as much as me. I love that because going you don't realize it, but when you travel with other people, you have to compromise a lot. You have to take in their considerations a lot, their wants, their needs, what they want to eat. If you change their mind and they really want to go, they got an attitude or their feelings are hurt. And this is not just who you're dating. This is friends and family too. Because when you go as a group, everybody wants you to do stuff as a group. That is not my ministry. I don't believe in that. I feel like if you go on a vacation, yes, there should be some things that you do together, but there should also be some time where if you want to go and do something on your own, you could do it. So my friends and family tell you I will bounce on them in a heartbeat. Like, okay, y'all, I've had enough of us. I love you, but Keisha's going to do something different. And I would bounce. And I would let them know like where I'm going, but I don't want them going with me. And a lot of times I would travel by myself. I don't care if it's going to Vegas, if it's going to Atlanta or Dallas, California, it don't matter. I even went to Dubai by myself. Like I have no issues with traveling by myself. I've gone out of the country by myself. I've met groups there, but I've still traveled, by myself. And loved it. I didn't have to consider anybody's feelings but my own. I didn't have to consider anybody's wants and needs but my own. I got to focus on what is it that Keisha really want to do, like where she want to go. And then if I change my mind and I just want to excuse me, sleep in or sit on the beach or sit at the pool or, whatever. I didn't have to worry about hurting anybody else's feelings or compromising their plans because some people, and that's just their makeup, they love being around people and they aren't comfortable doing anything by themselves. Excuse me, I'm very comfortable doing stuff by myself. I have absolutely no problem going places and doing stuff by myself. It is not an issue with Keisha dating Keisha and doing things by myself, whether it's going to the movies, going out to eat, hopping on a plane, hopping on a cruise ship. I will do it, no problem. But that's just my makeup. So with that, I wanted like I said, the companionship. I wanted some consistency, but I didn't want him spending out at my house and staying at each other's house for days on end. And I wasn't interested in all of that. Because I still had a goal and a purpose of me still taking the time to get to know me. And I knew there was some additional healing that needed to be done and some self-evaluations. And some people are like, well, how can you do that if you're talking to somebody? I had boundaries of what I would and would not do. And for 3 years, I'm a very private person. Let me start there so you can understand. I am very private. I've always been private. So I would date somebody and wouldn't tell nobody about it for 6 to 9 months. Even my sisters, and I'm very close to my sisters, I would not tell nobody. So when I was going through the issues in my marriage because I was the preacher's wife, it was very public, very public. And not having the space and the privacy to grieve my marriage like a lot of people have, that affected me to where I became even more so private in my relationship with him. And a lot of my friends and a few of my family members didn't meet him till 3 years, like after we had been just kicking it for 3 years. They knew about him. I told them about it. I told them about him after we had been talking for about 9 months to a year. I think it was a long time. I know excessive, but that's my prerogative, and that was Keisha's choice. And he was fine with it because he wasn't looking for anything serious. And I think we were both kind of like placeholders, if you will, and not in a bad way, just both of us discovering what we wanted out of relationships and being able to learn from what we had with each other. He's happily in a relationship with somebody else, and they're public. We were not public with our relationship like that. And I'm happy for him because I realized too, not everybody is for you and not everything is for you. So with that being said, they met him 3 years after we had started talking, and then a few months after that, I stopped talking to him. And they were like, "Hold up, what? How so? And what's going on with him?" And I was like, "Oh, we're not together." And they was like, hold up, we just met him. And I'm like, yeah, when you're making certain things your requirement and they're not being met, there comes a time where you have to decide, do you want to stay in this or are you going to continue to tolerate this? And if I say I want companionship and I see you every few months or just give an example and you're not meeting that and I discuss it with you, people make time for what they want to make time for. Period. I don't care how busy we are. I don't care what we have going on in life. You make time for what you want to make time for. Where your heart is, that's where you're going to follow. That's where you're going to make the effort. And when I was bringing certain concerns to him that were important to me and it was acknowledged, but it wasn't addressed, it's time for me to move on. And it was amicable. Once again, it was amicable. And we moved on from that. And so since then, it's been, shoot, I think 4 years, 3 or 4 years since I have dated anybody. I have had no inclination or desire to date anyone. And a lot of people that know me, like, girl, what? And I'm like, yeah, I haven't. I have been so invested in loving Keisha and everything about Keisha, I just didn't care to include anybody in that journey. And it's put me in a position now where I really will not compromise on a lot of things that I would have compromised in the past. And I will not tolerate certain things that I have tolerated before in the past. And the dating world is so different. Yeah, I have an adult daughter. Uh like so dating is different because I'm not finna have no more kids. I can't. Well, unless I have a surrogate, but I'm not having any more kids. I don't want any more kids for me to physically have. Let me make sure you understand that. I'm not in that space. I'm in a different chapter of my life. And then when it comes to dating, do I want to date somebody that has kids? And then if I do want to date somebody that has kids, what age am I okay with his kids being? Let me be clear. I also understand that when you meet somebody and they're a good person, how great they are can make you alter your want list, your need list, and your desire list if they really are everything that you truly need and want. We will make exceptions to the rules. I haven't met anybody to make me change my mind. Then you have to take into consideration what kind of relationship do they have with their ex, and then is that something that I want to take on and deal with him? And I'm be honest, me being the police, it's not. I'm not dealing with no drama. I'm not dealing with her pop up at the house. I'm not gonna deal with her slashing tires and all the other stuff. She will be arrested. Reports will be filed. Restraining orders will be gotten. Legal work will be done. Like we're not gonna go through that. And then because at the end of the day, too, that affects the kids. So and then what kind of trauma do they have? Do they have any resentments? Like what are they going through? And there's so many nuances and things that you have to consider when you're dating and then even when you're dating a child that's older, do they have any hangups? Do they have any issues? Do they have any traumas? Like, do they have any reservations? Are they going to be receptive to you dating? Do they like all of those things still have to go into play no matter the age of the child? You just got to deal with a different level of independence from the child. And then everybody don't raise their kids the same too. Everybody did not raise their kids the same. Some people believe in gentle parenting and hands-on parenting and spare the rod parenting. I believe a mixture of all three is important. That's just me. But those things still come into play whether you're dealing with a grown adult or a young child. You still have to think about those things. So, I'm like, do I want to deal with it or don't want to deal with it? But that also takes time with getting to know somebody. Like, to be honest, just getting to know them. And I haven't been in a position where I have come across anybody that I have really wanted to get to know. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. Going on these trips, I be like, dang, it sure would be nice to have somebody here holding my hand while I'm doing this and enjoying the ambiance with me. But then I get over and be like, girl, let's do this. And I go on and do whatever I'm doing. Like I'm gonna be honest, I have those moments. They're not that many. And when I do have it, like, well, when the time comes, it'll come. Until then, he who findeth will find me. And so my friends, a few of them will get on me. A girl just asked me the other day. So y'all see this ring, right? This is on my ring finger. My mom passed. It'll be 2 years on the 30th, and she has a lot of rings that I kept. My sister kept some, my daughter kept some, and of course I kept some. And one of her sets is her wedding set that she got from my stepdad before he passed. And I wear it. It's a beautiful set. I love the set. And it brings me just closer to my mom and my stepdad because I had a great relationship with him, my bonus dad number three. We'll talk about that in another podcast. But I wear it, and you know, the concerns from my friends are you're single, you're not married, you're not engaged, and it may throw somebody off. And I'm like, look, if a man is sent to me by God, yes, I'm gonna go there. If he's sent by God, surely he will have the wherewithal, if that's who sent him, to respectfully ask me. Because I've had men respectfully ask me, hey, I noticed a ring on your finger. I just wanted to know. I don't want to be disrespectful. I wanted to know if you're married or engaged or in a relationship. And I'll let them know, "No, I'm not. This is my mom's ring. She passed, and so I wear that in memory of her and her marriage and her relationship and what marriage is, but no, I'm single." Then we can go from there, because there's no harm in asking. There are a lot of people that wear wolf rings. I used to wear wolf rings before I got married. Yes, a wolf ring is a ring that, is fake. It's not really an engagement ring, and you're wearing it to trick people into thinking you're married when you don't wanna be bothered. So, and then you have people that are married that absolutely don't wear rings. So go figure. So why not ask? A ring is not indicative of a relationship. So ask. Ask me. Girl, you married? I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not married. And so I told her that. And then after my divorce, I had bought a ring. I had bought me a diamond band, and I bought it as a reminder to myself. I still wear it sometimes, but it's a reminder to myself that at the end of the day, when you get in a relationship with anybody, you should never lose yourself in that relationship. You should always make sure that you love yourself, that you respect yourself, you take care of yourself, you apply self care, you get therapy, you do what you need to do, because you're no good for somebody else when you are never good for yourself, to yourself, or with yourself, because you can't expect other people to love you. You can't teach people how to love you if you don't even know how to love yourself. Like, then you got toxic love, because the love you're giving yourself is toxic. So you're teaching them to give you toxicity. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. I don't just that's no, no. So that's where I am, when it comes to relationships. So let's talk about it. So about a week ago, I got on Facebook dating. Y'all, I believe in posting several pictures that's going to show me in different lights, different environments. I want you to see me on a trip. I want you to see me dressed up. I want you to see me dressed down, dressed regular, with lipstick on, no makeup on. Makeup on, like the nuances of Keisha, the different versions of Keisha, so you can see what I look like with no makeup, how thick I am, how short I am, that I love to travel, I love to go out, I love to do things, I love to dress up, I definitely love to dress down. Like, because pictures can only tell so much, but they also can show a lot. And so I wanted to, because if you're looking for a skinny chick and you're going by my Facebook, like, yeah, she got some fat jobs, but she might be skinny. I'm not skinny. I used to be, but I ain't skinny, even though I'm down almost 40 pounds, but and I'm still trying to lose, but I'm going to be slim thick. I'm not going to be skinny, skinny. But I think that's important. So when I'm on Facebook dating, fellas, I want to see more than just your chest. I want to see more than from neck to pubic hair. As a matter of fact, when I see that, delete, swipe, no, because you're a thirst trap. Like, If you're wanting me to see your build, just do a regular full body picture. You can be in the gym with no shirt on. That's fine. But not every picture do I want to see you with your clothes off. Like, that's not giving what I need to receive. So I'm like, you are not for me. No. And then I appreciate the guys that be like, yeah, I'm a freak. Okay, that's wonderful. But you saying you want a serious long term relationship. Uh, freak status does not mean long term relationship. This just mean long term freaky hookup. Like that's I'm just saying. And so and then you have the guys that absolutely have nothing under their page, like one picture and holla at your boy. Swipe. So and then I had one guy had a conversation. He had good conversation, but he came across so desperate. I think you're the one, and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I told you some good things about myself, but you might not like my attitude, or I may rub you the wrong way. You might not like how I sip my drink, or like, because people have like things that they can't stand and can't tolerate. And y'all, I had to distance myself from him because this was just a conversation all in one day. And you talking about I'm done with the site, I don't need to find nobody else, and you it for me, sir. You're not it for me because you're coming across desperate. Don't get me wrong. If our vibes and energy was the same and I was feeling the same way he was, I wouldn't critique him like this. Okay. So I get that we're not on the same wavelength with emotions and feelings. And I believe in being cautious but optimistic, but also being realistic. And you live far away. So even if you have money, there are still some things that get in the way of that. And I think it's imperative that before any of us jump into a relationship or anything where we're committing to somebody, especially somebody we don't know, that's a flag to me. That flag is light red. It's a pink flag. It's gonna turn red in a minute. That's for me because y'all know I'm the police, but I'm a Scorpio. And no, I'm not a vindictive Scorpio because I believe in letting God do what is illegal for me to do. I'll let him do what he do best. And then I go about my business and be happy and let you see me being happy. Because to me, Beyonce says revenge is that paper. But for me, revenge is you seeing me living my life and not stopping doing what I'm doing because of you. Like that's the best revenge. But him just doing too much too soon, nah, player, that ain't my ministry. I'm not here for it. And then I would have guys that be like, hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. How was your day? Help so and so and so. And they're dry. Like, what do you like to do? What's your and I know it's kind of hard with, when you're messaging somebody, but do put in a little bit more effort because I'm gonna ask you questions. But if you're not delving beneath the surface when I'm asking you these questions to have a deeper conversation, yeah, not gonna work. The other thing that it's a pet peeve, I'm not a scholar, but grammar, I can't stand it when it's all caps. Personal, that's Keisha. That's a Keisha thing. I can't stand it when it's all caps. I cannot stand it when it's a run-on sentence with no periods, no commas, no explanation, exclamation marks, no question marks, no semicolons, no colon. Like, sir, I don't know how to read that sentence. I don't, and I'm not expecting for everybody to be like grammar whizzes and English scholars, and but because it makes me wonder if you type like that, what is your conversation going to be like? And I discovered that I have so many nuances to things that I need and I look for, like, and it's so diverse. And I'm like, in all things, there needs to be balance. He needs to be business minded, where we could talk about business things. Not saying he has to have a business degree, but know how to, like, when we talking about the house note, like he can understand when I'm talking about escrow and rental property and things of that nature and inflation and all of that kind of stuff so we can make plans because I own my own home. I have land. I have two cars in my name. Just sold the third one. Like I have things. Um, I have investments. I'm not perfect. I know what it's like to struggle. Been there, done that. We'll talk about that in another podcast. But if he can't have a conversation about business or be willing to go beyond the surface and delve off into something that we can build together, or him giving me advice on things that I'm trying to do to better my situation. Because y'all, I retire in less than 3 years and I'm working my retirement plan now. I've been working it for the past 6 years. I'm working my retirement plan because when I retire, I don't want to have to go work for somebody else. I want to be able to enjoy myself and do what I like to do, travel. And so being able to talk about that, but then going from that to being country and a little street. And when I say street, I ain't talking about thug. Let's be clear. Like if somebody step to him, like they know he a man. He's a man's man. Like you're not gonna run over him. You're not gonna talk to him any kind of way. He's about his business. If the oil needs change, he knows it's time to change the oil. Whether he do it himself or he take it somewhere, the yard's gonna be cut, or he pays somebody to cut the yard. Like he needs to be manly. If he can't fix it, he knows somebody that can. Just balance. Have a good sense of humor. Because I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. And know when to cut it off because not everything is funny. So be in touch and be sympathetic and empathetic and be sensitive, but also understand when it's time to be firm. I am, yes, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm an alpha female. But I'm also an alpha female that doesn't have a problem submitting to a man I respect. If I don't respect you, I cannot submit to you because that means I can't trust you to lead as a man. And there are certain things that play into that. We'll save that for another conversation. But an alpha female that has the ability to submit, that wants to submit, is an okay alpha female by my standards. I believe it's okay because if you respect a man to lead you, guide you, protect you, offer you the things that you need, you have no problems stepping aside and staying in the role that you yourself want to be in. Now, mind you, I didn't say a woman's role. I said the role you want to be in because every person's role is theirs. They define how they want to live their life, and that couple defines how they want their roles in that relationship to be defined. So I'm not going to put stereotypes and stuff like that on anybody, not even myself. There's certain things, yes, that I want a man to do that I do not want to do. Like, yes, I'm an independent woman, but I get tired of my car needing to get maintenance, or dang, I got to get the roof fixed because yes, I got to get my roof fixed. But like, I get tired of that stuff. You be want somebody else to take out the trash. I get tired of opening up the door and I got stuff in my hands. Even if I don't, I get tired. Who can somebody pull out my chair for me? Can you pull the chair out? Yeah. I mean, like I get tired of those things, but when you by yourself, you have no choice but to do them. And then you get in the habit of doing them. So then you have to break the habit when you start dating somebody that does those things, that has that old school chivalry. Yes. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get them one day. Ain't no rush. But baby, that Facebook dating, y'all, and I have to learn the concept of what the swipes are. Swipe to the left, swipe to the right, click a heart, click a X. Like I'm still learning that stuff. So y'all bear with me. I'm gonna have to let y'all know. And let me tell you, Keisha is not discriminatory. I will take you white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Australian, Alaskan, chocolate, light chocolate, deep chocolate, white chocolate. It don't matter what color your chocolate is. I don't, because I'm like, for me, love is love. And my family is predominantly, we're Black, African Americans, but we also have a diverse group of people in our families. And I love the acceptance and the love that's given to everybody. So I was raised like that, and I always said I was gonna give me a white man. Nothing wrong with my chocolate because I love my milk chocolate, and my dark chocolate brothers. But I ain't nothing wrong with a little white chocolate. I've never dated one, talked to one, but never dated one. And I have been saying for like 26 years, I'm gonna give me a white man. It has not happened yet. I don't know what's going on, but I hadn't ran across one that has been interested in me, that I've been interested in him. We've been interested in each other. But I told my daughter, I said, girl, your stepdaddy gonna be white. I don't know that. He might still be a black man. I don't know. But, I'm open because I'm like, I don't want to knock my blessings because, and this is Keisha, I don't want to block my blessings because I'm being restrictive of my choices. And that is me. I respect everybody's choices because that's what you like. That's what you love. That's you. But we talking about me right now. So I am open to possibilities, but I'm also not restricting myself and putting myself in a box. And whatever comes, whether he be black, white, or anything in between, I'm here for it. And I might hook him up with that black wife effect. I don't know. I might hook him up with that black wife effect. He might hook me up. I don't know. We might hook each other up. But yeah, I'm just this Facebook dating is definitely helping me to see the mindset of where people are when it comes to dating nowadays. I did have to make it be clear. I'm strictly, I don't swing that way. If that's your preference, then that is your business. I do not. I said, unless you Oprah with a contract, I'm not gonna go that way. I just, and don't get me wrong, it's some nice looking women out here, ladies. Y'all be doing it. I mean, y'all look nice. Women, we can sit up there and say that. If another man say another man look good, y'all gonna be like, y'all gonna be side eyeing them. But it's some nice looking women out there that go this way. I just don't. Um, and I'm short, y'all. I'm 5'3" and a half. I earned that half, so I'm gonna claim all my little inches and half inches. And so I prefer a man that's much taller than me. And I think my dad has something to do with it. No, I don't have a daddy fixation. Let's start there. But my dad is 6'7". I did not get none of that height. I got them feet because I have big feet, but they pretty feet. I keep my feet done. But my dad is 6'7", and when I was little, he used to always put me on top of his shoulders and carry me around. And I loved it. I loved it. And so growing up, I always be like, when you're short, you don't have no problem climbing trees. You don't have no problems climbing a tree. So if you are 5'9" and above, I might take you 5'7", but if you're 5'9" and above, um, I'm not. And then we go to physical attributes. Height. Is he too big, too skinny, and stuff like that. And I prefer somebody that's in decent shape. You don't have to be a gym rat because I am not one. But I like to be able to get up and go and do things and explore. And I'm a nature person. When I say I'm a nature person, no, I have never hunted before. I've never been camping, but I do want to go glamping. But I love walking and being outside and going on trails and going to the lake and um, things like that. Like I love nature. I feel more at one with God when I'm out there because it's like you're surrounded by even more so about things He created, and it allows me to just be closer to Him. It also allows me to like meditate and just relax and decompress and literally let go more so of things that's just going on in life and just be in the moment and appreciate the moment that I'm in. So, y'all, I had a friend, we're still friends, and she was telling me about this white guy that is one of her clients, and she was telling me about him, and I was like, he sounds like my cup of tea. Hmm. And I'm like, I was getting good vibes. I had met him, but just off the things she was saying. But when people aren't ready or they're not receptive, I'm okay with that because I'm not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. And that's all right. Who's for me is for me. Who's not, just not. And I was like, I've learned too the importance of understanding not only your love language, but other people, because we'll try to love people in our own love language. And then they feel like they're not being loved because that's not their language. So if you know you need affirmation and physical touch, but they're a service person, they're into acts of service, and you're giving them physical touch and affirmation, they're gonna feel empty because for them, acts of service is their love language. That's how they feel like they're loved when you fix their plate or you help them with something that they're doing. That's how they receive love. For them, they need to touch you. They need to be affectionate with you. They need to give you words of affirmation. That is your love language of how you receive. And a lot of times we try to project our love language on somebody else. And that's when we have a lot of breakdowns in relationships because we're assuming we're giving that person what they need, when in reality, we never asked them or we didn't pay attention to the hints and the things that they said where they were letting us know what they needed. So learn about the five love languages. You might find out that might be a reason why things ain't going the way you need them to go. I'm just saying. So y'all pray for me in this Facebook dating. I think I'm even gonna delve off into Instagram because it's also entertaining. Just seeing like these profile pictures and what people post and what they say versus what they pictures say. Like it's a conundrum, baby. And I am like entertained. Mm, I'm drinking water, y'all. I'm drinking water today. So, y'all, it's real different out here in these dating streets. And I don't know. It's we gonna have to see like mm, we gonna have to see. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. But I'm gonna keep you updated. I'm gonna keep you posted. But I do want to thank y'all for joining me. Y'all didn't have to stay this long because y'all, we've been talking for a long time, almost an hour, 45 minutes, y'all, almost 45 minutes. But y'all hung in there. So I'm proud of you. Some podcasts will be longer, some will be shorter, but and then depending on what's going on in life, I might be like, y'all, I got to share this tea. And then I might post more than one. We'll see. I don't know. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to you staying with me on this journey. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share. And yeah, this is Talking with Flair with Takesha. So, yeah, y'all, I appreciate you. Bye.